Hello, beautiful children. How are you all, children? Yes, we are going to meet after a long time, right? I hope that you all have written your examination papers nicely and hope that you all will get good marks in your all subjects. So, here we are going to start a wonderful story of Brooklyn Bridge. Do you know, children, where this bridge situated? It is in New York. New York, the business capital of America. And when the engineer of this bridge thinking about that something should be there which can connect New York and on other hand a very beautiful island. That time all told him that it is just like a dream, it cannot be completed, it is just next to impossible. All just nobody was there to support the main character of our story, and how he make this dream come true, that you are going to learn from this lesson. As the unit suggests you, is all about your determination and courage. I always tell you that if you are determined person, nobody can stop you. Yes. So the same story is given here. Very beautiful, very close to my heart. And as soon as you will learn this lesson, you will know the value of time, courage, and strong determination. So here we go. Brooklyn Bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge is one of the oldest suspension bridges in the United States. Completed in 1883, it connects the New York City boroughs of Manhattan and Brooklyn by spanning the East River. With a main span of 1,595.5 feet, 486.3 meters, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world from its opening until 1903, and the first steel wire suspension bridge. A creative engineer named John Roebling was inspired by an idea to build a spectacular bridge connecting New York with the Long Island.
So here you can see the picture of the main creator, right? On whose idea the bridge was based on. This is the person, Mr. John Roebling. Though it was his dream, but he couldn't complete it that. What was the reason behind it? The further you are going to see in this lesson. So this is the person, John Roebling.
However, bridge building experts throughout the world thought that this was an impossible feat and told Roebling to forget the idea. It just could not be done. It was not practical. It had never been done before. Roebling could not ignore the vision he had in his mind of this bridge. He thought about it all the time, and he knew deep in his heart that it could be done. He just had to share the dream with someone else. After much discussion and persuasion, he managed to convince his son, Washington, an upcoming engineer, that the bridge, in fact, could be.
As you heard that, initially, all around the world, whosoever people listening about Roebling's dream, they were just denying that it couldn't be completed because it had never happened. So what if somebody haven't tried it before? It is not so that if anyone has not done so, so that is why you can also not dream of. It can be done. If you have true determination and courage, my dear children, anything can be possible for you and for your world. So here in this next picture you can see Washington Roebling. He was the son of John Roebling. When all engineers and people out there in the world all denied to help John, then after he decided to take somebody else's help, and that was the person Washington Roebling. He was the upcoming engineer. When his father discussed his dream with Washington, first he also denied, but later on he realized that it is his responsibility to help his father, to help him to achieve the dream which he has seen with open eyes. Let's see ahead.
Working together for the first time, the father and son developed concepts of how it could be accomplished and how the obstacles could be overcome. With great excitement and inspiration, and the headlines of a wild challenge before them, they hired their crew and began to build their dream bridge. While conducting surveys for the bridge project, Roebling sustained a crush injury to his foot when a ferry pinned it against a piling. After amputation of his crushed toes, he developed a tetanus infection, which left him incapacitated and soon resulted in his death. Now,
So you seen that when the work just began, then only John met with an injury, a pin stuck to his toe, and later on it spread infection in his body, and because of that infection he died later on.
not long after he had placed his son, Washington Roebling, in charge of the project. Washington Roebling also suffered a paralyzing injury as a result of decompression sickness shortly after the beginning of construction on January 3, 1870. This condition, first called caisson disease by the project physician Dr. Andrew Smith, afflicted many of the workers working within the caissons. Everyone had a negative comment to make and felt that the project should be scrapped, since the Roeblings were the only ones who knew how the bridge could be built. In spite of his
So, as you understood here, beta, after the death of his father, Washington also got paralyzed. Paralyzed is the situation, beta, in which a person cannot move half of the body parts, or I think a full body, when the person is suffering through paralysis. So, in that particular situation, all decided that now bridge work couldn't be completed because whatever the plans were there, how the structure will go on, would go on, that all ideas were with Washington only. And Washington was on the bed. Nobody else know about Washington's plan. So then after, all workers and engineers thought that now they should stop the work.
his handicap, Washington was never discouraged and still had a burning desire to complete the bridge. His mind was still as sharp as ever. He tried to inspire and pass on his enthusiasm to some of his friends, but they were too daunted by the task. As he lay on his bed in the hospital room, with the sunlight streaming through the windows, a gentle breeze blew the flimsy white curtains apart, and he was able to see the sky and tops of the trees outside for just a moment. It seemed that there was a message for him not to give up. Suddenly, an idea struck him. The disease had disabled him. All he
So you listen here that when Washington was on the bed, he was in the hospital room. That time curtains were just moving here to there. From there, thunder breeze were coming inside, and some rays of sun also stuck to its body. So these particular things gave him hope, the ray of hope that still, if he wished, then he could complete the leftover task by his father. So, how to find out the solution for this problem? Here we go to know more.
all he could do was move one finger, and he decided to make the best use of it. By moving this, he slowly developed a code of communication with his wife. He touched his wife's arm with that finger, indicating to her that he wanted her to call the engineers again. Then he used the same method of tapping her arm to tell the engineers what to do. To many, it seemed foolish, but the project was underway again. Under her husband's guidance, Emily studied higher mathematics, the calculations of catenary curves, the strengths of materials, bridge specifications, and the intricacies of cable construction. She spent the next 11 years assisting Washington Roebling, helping to supervise the bridge's construction. For 13 years, Washington tapped out his instructions with his finger on his wife's arm until the bridge was finally completed. Today, the spectacular Brooklyn Bridge.
So you know children now, how did the bridge was completed? It was Washington's wife Emily who understood the tapping instruction given by her husband, just followed the instruction, guided the engineers. Not only that, she also studied further to do the engineering work efficiently. Right? She understood the mathematics, its equations, cable, the strength of the material, all about what was needed to complete the construction of the bridge. She studied all the things sincerely, and finally, after 13 years of her husband's illness, the bridge was completed all by the guidance and instruction of Washington Roebling. So this is the thing. If Washington would have been disheartened or just thought that now he was paralyzed, then he was paralyzed, he couldn't move anything except one single finger, he couldn't complete this bridge. And where you can see in this picture, people are walking. Actually, it is the spectator, right? A great specimen by engineers, which is still now in New York. You might be watching Discovery Channel. Last week, if I am not wrong, there was a program on Brooklyn Bridge. My children enjoyed that thoroughly. If it is possible, if in repeated telecast, if you can see anything about Brooklyn Bridge, just go through it, children. A very inspiring story is there behind Brooklyn Bridge. The workers also faced many of the problems, but they did not step back, and because of that only this marvelous spectator you can see on the television, and actually it is there in New York.
Stands in all its glory as a tribute to the triumph of one man's indomitable spirit and his determination not to be defeated by circumstances. It is also a tribute to the engineers and their teamwork and to their faith in a man who was considered mad by half the world. It stands too as a tangible monument to the love and devotion of his wife, who for 13 long years patiently decoded the messages of her husband and told the engineers what to do. Perhaps this is one of the best examples of a never say die attitude that overcomes a terrible physical handicap and achieves an impossible goal.
So children, I like the line very much. Never say die. Yes, to any work. Whatever the situation is there, whatever the circumstances there are many things to complain about, but there is only one thing to chase your dream, that is your determination. If you have dream to be something, to achieve something, just do not rest yourself till you get your dream achieved. Right? So all the very best children. Here we go with the hard words of this lesson, and then after I will send you the exercise of Brooklyn Bridge. Please complete it in your notebook. Yeah. So the first word is there, afflicted. Afflicted means affected things in an unpleasant or harmful way.
Afflicted, verb. Affected things in an unpleasant or harmful way.
Convince. To make someone believe that the fact or facts or matters is or are true. Convince.
Convince, verb. To make someone believe that the fact or facts or matters is or are true.
Decompression, sickness, severe pain and difficulty in breathing experienced at times by the divers who come back to the surface or deep water too quickly. As you see that beta, the whole bridge is on the water, right? So that is why workers were feeling so much difficulty when they were under the ground. You can see that there is no pillar. Right now technology has developed too much, All things are possible. But when Washington Roebling and John Roebling thought about to make Brooklyn Bridge, it was next to difficult task because technology was not that much expanded. Let's see.
Decompression. Sickness. Noun. Severe pain and difficulty in breathing experienced at times by the divers who come back to the surface of deep water too quickly.
This also have been covered in that documentary film of Brooklyn Bridge. It was on Discovery Channel.
Hired, verb, paid money to borrow for a short term, that is to hire laborers, video, etc.
Inspired.
Inspired, verb, to give the desire, confidence or enthusiasm to do well.
Obstacles.
Obstacles, noun, hindrances, a situation that creates difficulties for a person to achieve something.
Here I would like to say that beta, if we are doing something good, something we want to achieve, then obstacles may come. It is no matter that what type of obstacle it is or you are going smoothly or not. But what you have to look forward, it is your goal. It is your dream. So never mind as many obstacles are coming on your way. No problem. Just ignore it and go ahead. Sustained.
Sustained, verb, experienced, suffered.
Triumph. Triumph means victory. To achieve. Achievement.
Triumph, noun, victory.
Or achievement. Okay children, I hope that you will enjoy this video and get some inspiration from John Roebling, Washington Roebling and Washington's wife Emily Roebling. Okay, all the very best. Bye bye.